Good morning, dear students. Ninth standard, second unit. The lesson is the sound of music. It is divided into two parts. Okay, the sound of music. The sound of music. Now see, it is named as the sound of music, and it has certain relation to give this title. There are two people, Evelyn Glennie and Bismillah Khan, Ustad Bismillah Khan, who is very famous in the world of Indian music, classical music. And Evelyn Glennie, who was famous, who became famous and earned many rewards also, because she was deaf, but still she could listen the feel the music, and she made such a great achievement in music. So these two people are given over here in the sound of music. What is Evelyn Glennie? Now the story starts with a little flashback and tells about the biography of the girl. And it's a girl who was rush hour crowds jostle for position on the underground train platform. Jostle means to push the people for places or to walk over. So when the crowd is there, they are pushing each other and finding their way. A slight girl, thin girl. A slight girl looking younger than her 17 years. So she was so weak. Her weakness is shown. She was so weak, maybe, that she was 17 years, but she was still looking younger, smaller, shorter. Was nervous yet excited as she felt the vibration of the approaching train. It was her first day at the prestigious Royal Academy of Music in London. Now she was going to present in the Royal Academy of Music in London. It was her first prestigious presentation, and daunting enough for any teenager fresh from the Scottish firm. But this aspiring musician faced a bigger challenge than most. She was profoundly deaf. And what? People can go and perform in Royal Academy. Many musicians or people of music, they have performed in the Royal Academy of Music in London. But what is the difference with this girl is she was deaf. Evelyn Glennie's loss of hearing had been gradual. That was from the childhood. Her mother remembers noticing something was wrong when the 8-year-old Evelyn was waiting to play the piano. They called her name and she didn't move because she couldn't listen. I suddenly realized she hadn't heard. Who says? Isabella Glennie, her mother. For quite a while, Evelyn managed to conceal her growing deafness from her friends and teachers. Now she was hiding it. But by the time she was 11, her marks had deteriorated, and her headmistress requested her parents, Evelyn's parents, to take her to a doctor, to a specialist. It was then discovered that her hearing was severely impaired as a result of gradual nerve damage. Nervous system damage in the nervous system was making her slowly deaf. See, is it a problem or God gifted thing? We can't say. Sorry, but sometimes it happens. What happens? You see that this girl was having this little girl was advised by the headmistress to go to the specialist, and they come to know that was because the nervous system damage. Everything suddenly looked black, says Evelyn. But Evelyn was not going to give up. She was determined to lead a normal life. So she pursued her interest in music. She wanted to live a normal life. So she did not accepted the listening aid also. Okay, that was given by the doctor. Don't listen through your ears. Now, once what happened, she went. She wanted to pursue music, so she went to a music teacher. That was Ron Forbes. Ron Forbes, who spotted her potentials in music. And what he said to her, don't listen through your ears. He would say, try to sense it some other way. And says Evelyn, suddenly I realized I could feel the higher drum from the west up and the lower one from the west down. Now she started the higher drum and the lower drum. The higher drum she was feeling on the upside of the body, and the lower drum she was feeling downside of the body, some vibration. So that means she was able to get the notation by the senses or the vibration. She was feeling like this. See, this happens. So that's what I was talking, that whether it is a God gift or a problem, nervous system, because you know very well Stephen Hawking, who was having a nervous system problem, that his body started paralyzing, and the boy who was about to live only for 2-3 years lived for so many years, and moreover he became a very famous scientist in physics. Same is the story of Evelyn. Same is the story. She is deaf. By specialist she is declared as deaf, but she is able to listen the music. I had learned to open my mind and body to the sounds and vibration. The rest was sheer determination and hard work. So she learned to sensing the music from her open mind and body, and the rest of the things came from the hard work. She had to listen again and again, practice again and again. So she had to beat the drum again and again. By that she might have come to know. She never looked back from that point onwards. She toured the United Kingdom. She went to the United Kingdom with a youth orchestra, and by the time she was 16. At the age of 16 she went. She had decided to make music her life, and she auditioned for the Royal Academy of Music and scored one of the highest marks in the history of the Academy. She gradually moved from orchestral work to solo performance. Now see, she was working in the orchestra in a group, she was playing. Now she went to solo performance. Now, solo performance means any single note she miss, that will be noticed by the judges, people. But she dared, being a deaf. At the end of her 3 years course, she had captured most of the top awards, see, in the Royal Academy. And for all this, Evelyn won't accept any hint of heroic achievement. If you work hard and know where you are going, you will get there. What she says, there is nothing heroic to do this. We feel that a deaf girl, she is playing on music, but she feels that hard work makes possible. If you decide to do it, it will happen. So what a good line. What a good line. If you work hard and know where you are going, you will be there. You will get there. So it's really a good line by Evelyn. Keep it in mind. And she got right to the top, and she was on the top. It is intriguing to watch Evelyn function so effortlessly without hearing. In our 2-hour discussion, she never missed a word. Men with bushy beards give me trouble. She laughed. She laughed. What she said, she can read the lips also. She was deaf, but by reading your lips, she used to come to know what words you are speaking. And what she says, only bushy beard. If a beard fellow is there, she cannot read the words properly. So that is a thing. By that also she goes on laughing. Take it as a joke. My speech is clear because I could hear till I was 11. And she could hear. So she can speak well, she says. But that doesn't explain how she managed to learn French and master basic Japanese also. Up to 11 she knew English, but then she learned French and Japanese also. Up to 11 she might have learned. Her speech is clear, it's okay. But how she could learn French and Japanese? Okay, that is one more question. But that is a mystery. As for music, she explains, it pours in through every part of my body. The music is poured. It tingles in the skin, in my cheekbones, and even in my hairs. When she plays the xylophone, she can sense the sound passing up the stick into her fingertips. Now, xylophone drums, modern drums. Xylophone is a table-like thing. When you play on it, the music comes like drums. Okay. Music comes like drum. By leaning against the drums, and when she was playing it in the fingertips, she was having the sensation what notes she is playing. On a wooden platform, she removes her shoes so that the vibration pass through her bare feet and up her legs. So on the wooden floor, if she is standing, so she used to stand bare feet so that the vibration will enter in the body. Not surprisingly, Evelyn delights her audience in 1991. She was presented with the Royal Philharmonic Society's prestigious Soloist of the Year award. She started playing solo and she became the most famous soloist of the year. That award was given by the Royal Philharmonic Society. Says master percussionist James Blades, percussionist, the master of percussionist James Blade, it's a instrument. God may have taken her hearing, but he has given her back something extraordinary. What we hear, she feels far more deeply than any of us. Who said? James Blade said about her. That is why she expresses music so beautifully. So, Evelyn confesses that she is something of a workaholic, means working harder. So, she have learned all these things. So, this is a story about Evelyn Glennie has already accomplished more than most people twice her age. She accomplished. She has brought percussion to the front of the orchestra. The percussion is a kind of instrument, okay, like xylophone is an instrument, and demonstrated that it can be very moving. She has given inspiration to those who are handicapped. Likewise, Stephen Hawking always became the inspiration for the handicap. Maybe in last year or 7th or 8th standard you have gone through a lesson on Stephen Hawking. She has given inspiration to those who are handicapped, people who look to her and say, if she can do it, I can. And not the least, she has given enormous pleasure to millions of people. So this is the first person in the Sound of Music. Okay, and the second person is Bismillah Khan. Maybe you have heard the name, and the story of Bismillah Khan starts with the little flashback of the history that in the court of Aurangzeb, Pungi, you know that in many films Pungi is shown to blowing in front of the snake, and the snake it is shown that the snakes are dancing on it. Okay, so Pungi, Aurangzeb did not like it and it was banned. But in his court one day, a nahi, a barber, came with an instrument. It was like pungi, but pungi is a kind of instrument. It is made up of wood only. This is a pungi. Okay, so this was banned. This was banned by Aurangzeb, and so the barber, what he did, he made another instrument. Instrument like flute, basuri. So, but it was a hollow part. The opening of the instrument was bigger, and that was brought in the court of Aurangzeb, and that barber started playing it. Now, a nai in Hindi, Urdu, barber is called as nai, played this instrument in the court of Aurangzeb, Shah's court. So it was named, it's a story, it was named as Shah Nai, barber, Shah Aurangzeb, Aurangzeb Badshah. So that was named as Shahnai. That was named as Shahnai. That is the history or the story related to it. The truth of the story may be a subject of research. So this Shahnai became very popular. It was played in the temples. It was played in the temples. I think that before Aurangzeb also there were instruments played in the temples. There were instruments like Shahnai also there. Okay, Bigul also there, and but it is related with pungi. Now Shahnai was played in temples, in marriages, and it was very famous. Okay, so how the story starts with Bismillah Khan. Bismillah Khan was a young boy, common boy like others, playing with his friends, gulli danda and other games, and he was habited of going to the temple, okay, and listening the music of Shahnai that was being played in the temples. So, and what happened, this 5-year-old Bismillah Khan used to go to the temple in Ras Bihari Ji temple, and he used to sing the Bhojpuri Chaita, the Ras Biharis, what do you say, appreciation, okay, that was a song. So he used to sing the song in the temple, and then at the end of the song he used to get some laddus. So he was singing that song with those songs for the laddus. Now this boy playing Gulli Danda, singing song in the temple, has been awarded with Bharat Ratna before 80 years. Okay, he was born on 21st March 1916. So the biography, his story, his life is given. He was born on 21st March 1916. Bismillah belonged to a very well-known family of musicians in Bihar, and he went on the same, and his grandfather Rasul Baks Khan was a Shahnai Nawaz of Bhojpur's King's Court, and his father Paigambar Baks and the other paternal ancestors were also great Shahnai players, and Bismillah Khan became the most famous Shahnai player. Now This young boy at his early age, when he was 3, his mother took his to maternal uncle's house at Banaras, Varanasi. Bismillah was fascinated by watching his uncle's practice and of the Shehnai. Okay, his maternal uncle was also playing Shehnai, and due to that he became, what happened, he was fascinated, and soon Bismillah started accompanying his uncle and he became his disciple. He was the first guru. Ali Bux, to the Vishnu temple of Banaras, where Bux was employed to play the Shehnai. Ali Bux, the maternal uncle, who was playing Shehnai at the Banaras temple, and there he learned with him. Slowly he started getting lesson in the playing instrument and would sit practicing throughout the day for years to come to the temple of Balaji and Mangala Maya and at the bank of Ganga. So there in Varanasi, Bismillah Khan has lived with his maternal uncle and practiced Shehnai at the temples and Ganga Ghats. The following water of the Ganga inspired him to improvise and invent ragas that were earlier considered to be beyond the range of Shehnai. Now, why he became famous? That some ragas, some sounds, music were not being played by using Shehnai. That he did, and that is why he was called as Ustad of Shehnai. At the age of 14, Bismillah accompanied to his uncle to Allahabad at a music conference, and at the end of his recital, Ustad Fayyaz Khan patted him and for his good skill at Shehnai. All India radio, when it started 1938, Bismillah Khan got the break to play Shehnai on the radio. 15th August 1947, Bismillah Khan became the first Indian to greet the nation with his Shehnai. 15th August 1917, he was the 1947, at the day of independence, he was given chance to play Shehnai at Red Fort. Okay, and it became very famous. It became in Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru was there to listen him, who later gave his famous Tryst with Destiny speech. Okay, Bismillah Khan has given many memorable performances both in India and abroad. His first trip abroad was to Afghanistan, where King Zahir Shah was so taken by his maestro that he gifted him priceless Persian carpets and other souvenirs. So the King Zahir of Afghanistan gifted him. That was his first abroad tour by Bismillah Khan. So there are many other things. Goonj Uthi Shehnai, he got a film. Bollywood was on the flourishing, and he got a film that was very famous, black and white film it was, Goonj Uthi Shehnai. There he played the Shehnai. Then Dil Ka Khilona Hai Toot Gaya, that was the another film, became very famous. The compositions were given by Bismillah Khan. Now also it is very, very sweet for the ears. Vijay Bhatt's Goonj Uthi Shehnai and Vikram Srinivas Kannada venture Sandhi Apna. I just can't come to terms with the artificiality and glamour of the film world. He says, now what he says, the artificialness in the films and the glamour, he can't come or compare with it. It was so glamorous. Now also the Bollywood is very glamorous, and this simple boy Bismillah Khan was very much taken by that. He says with emphasis, awards and recognition came Thick and fast, he was earning many awards, thick and fast. Bismillah Khan became the first Indian to be invited to perform at the prestigious Lincoln Center Hall in the United States of America. He was the first musician who was invited to play the Shehnai there in America. In Cannes Art Festival and in the Osaka Trade Fair, so well known did he became internationally that an audition in Tehran was named after him. And see, he became so famous that there was a program in Tehran and that was named after him. That was Ustad Bismillah Khan, Tahar Mosque Ustad Bismillah Khan. That was the function, Tahar Mosque Ustad Bismillah Khan. It was named after him. See, that auditorium hall is named after him in Tehran. See, national awards like Padma Shri, Padma Bhushan and Padma Vibhushan were offered to him. So, in the name of conferred on him. In 2001, Ustad Bismillah Khan was awarded India's highest civilian award, that was Bharat Ratna. With the coveted award resting on his chest and his eyes gleaming with rare happiness, he said, "All I would like to say is, teach your children music. This is Hindustan's richest tradition. Even the West is now coming to learn our music." Yes, surely. Now also there are Western countries, people are coming to India to learn it. See, in spite of traveling all over the world, Khan Sahib, as he is formally called as Ustad Bismillah Khan, he is exceedingly fond of Banaras and Dumaron, and they remain for him the most wonderful towns in the world. And what was the most wonderful place for him? Banaras, where he started his early childhood, his career, his playing of Shehnai. Okay, so that is how. Okay, this was the story of these two musicians. Read it well, find out the difficult words, solve the exercise. I am sending you in PDF. Go through the lesson. You need to read again and again, read at least twice, so that you understand each and everything well. Good day.